Well, today is the International Day of Action for Rivers. It's an occasion marked by environmentalists around the world to create awareness on the protection of water sources. Newzroom Afrika's Karinda Jagmohan spoke to an NPO called Adopt a River, and she filed this report.
Well, keeping with the theme of environmental protection for this International Day, we're also looking about the issue of contamination of our natural resources. And I'm joined by Talbot's Micole Martens. And Micole, we spoke about a year ago about the E. coli issue in Durban. That is still seemingly an issue. As we stand next to the Mgeni River, tell me about how you've seen this matter unfold over the past year.
Okay, perfect. So obviously you're aware that Adopt a River and Talbot work very closely, and for the last couple of years we've been monitoring the river, different points along the river, from the outfall down through here, and we found that every week this has become a hot spot of contamination or pollution. Every week it's going above the recreational limits. It is a concern. We're obviously monitoring for the harmful pathogenic E. coli, which does cause gastrointestinal infections, or really, tummy bugs. So monitoring of the river is so important, because not only for the aquatic ecosystems, but also for the communities that rely so heavily on the water for recreation, for drinking, or just their general livelihoods.
So, for example, the Mgeni River, about last year, we knew that there was quite an increase in E. coli, harmful E. coli, like you say. So at this moment, what are those levels now, according to your testing?
So the testing, like I say, it's very hard to say, okay, this week it's this amount. But if you look at the trends over the last couple of months, it's always in the high 100,000s. Sometimes it gets up to the millions. Recently, also just still high 100,000. So there's definitely high fecal pollution or contamination that is coming through this river. And ultimately, you can see where we're standing now. It's the last point before entry into the beaches.
What do you think that authorities perhaps need to do to ensure we protect our resources, and why is it important that we constantly pay attention to this?
So it's so important to pay attention to this. This is affecting animal ecosystems, livelihoods, the communities that rely on this. It's so important to pay attention, because people are getting sick. Communities are getting sick and suffering for this. We need to make sure that authorities are fixing the treatment works and making sure that they are sending out effluent that is treated and at levels that are safe for humans to be able to swim in the rivers, and obviously the beaches as well. So it's so important for us to make sure that we are keeping on top of the refurbishments of treatment plants, we're keeping on top of the treatments, we're educating industries to make sure that they are compliant with testing their discharge of effluent, and being compliant on what they are doing to make sure that they're not sending out polluted effluent as well into the seas.
Certainly. Micole, thank you so much for your time. She is Micole Martens from Talbot, which has worked alongside Adopt a River to frequently test the waters of rivers across KwaZulu-Natal, and ultimately we then know what is the state of our rivers, are they overly contaminated, and what action should be taken. And this is critical because it ultimately impacts our health as well as the health of local ecosystems. And this, of course, is important to conserve our environment, to conserve our planet. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Karinda Jagmohan in Durban.